Hi guys, welcome to this page of the notes, and now what we're going to do is take a look at that second objective or learning target, where now we're going to find the unknown measures or lengths of angles or sides. And the way that we're going to do it is using the properties that we now know about similar figures. So first, we know that similar figures, the corresponding angles of similar figures are congruent. The angles cannot change. But we know that the corresponding sides of similar figures must be proportional. So here's what we're going to do. First, maybe a new symbol for you, maybe not. In these problems, I have to tell you that the figures are similar. That is information you need to know ahead of time. And the way that I'll do that is by simply using this symbol right here. This little squiggle sign means proportional. So what this is telling me then is that triangle ABC is proportional to triangle XYZ. That does not mean that they're the same size, because they clearly are not. What the proportional means is that all of the lengths of the sides have been changed by the same scale factor. I just need to figure out what that scale factor is, or use that fact to my advantage. Let me show you how this is going to work. Again, we already know, yes, all of the measures of the angles have to be the same. The angles cannot change. Or else you'd have a different shape. And then we're not talking about a dilation. In fact, we're not talking about any of the transformations we've done so far. A reflection, a rotation, a translation, and a dilation, the shape will stay the same. Angle measures cannot change. But what we've done is we've been setting up these ratios, right? So side AB corresponds with side XY. Side BC corresponds with YZ. And side AC corresponds with XZ. Right? So these are our ratios. But what we're now saying is that I know if these are similar figures, all of these ratios have to be equal. In fact, we just saw that on the previous page of the notes. The first problem we did, that scale factor came out to be 2, right? Well, if each of these is equal to 2, what we're going to do is then set those ratios equal to each other, because they all have to be equal to the same thing, and that is setting up a proportion where I can then solve for an unknown. Now I know that that sounds super complicated. It's not. Let me show you. I have an example problem for you right here. What we're going to do is go ahead and find the value of x and y that makes these figures similar. All right, so I'm telling you the figures below are similar. I want you to find the value of x and y. Okay, here we go. First thing I know, the angles can't change, right? So what that means then is that in these similar figures, angle C and angle R are congruent. So let's start with the easy part. Angle C is congruent to angle R. Well, angle C is 4x plus 27. Angle R is 95. So set them equal. 4x plus 27 is equal to 95. Here we go. Subtract 27 to the other side, right? Okay. It's a plus 27, so I'll have to subtract 27 to the other side. I wind up with 4x is equal to 68. Then divide both sides by 4, and x is going to be equal to 17. So there we go. We found the measure of x. If I plug in a 17, 4 times 17 plus 27, you're going to get 95. And I know that because C and R have to be congruent. Okay, now, what else do I know? Well, let me go ahead and draw these in different colors for you. I know that side AB has to be proportional to side SP. And I know that side AD has to be proportional to side PQ. So let's set up those ratios. Here we go. I have, AB over corresponding side, which is PS or SP. Okay, right? I know that whatever that ratio is, they're similar figures. That means that there is a scale factor. All of those ratios are the same. So we're going to set them equal to each other. So this ratio, AB over SP, must be equal to AD over PQ. Right? If I have a scale factor K, all those ratios come out to be equal to the exact same thing. Well, since they're all equal to each other, just set them equal. Now what we do? Plug and chug, right? AB is 4y. 4y. SP is 10. Let's see, AD, 3y minus 5. And PQ, sorry, that's a sloppy 5, let me fix it, is equal to 5. Okay, you got a couple of options here. What I guess I would suggest doing, right, is I've got these denominators. Hopefully, maybe you remember back to Algebra 1 when you guys were first sort of introduced this idea of solving a proportion for an unknown. This is where you learned to cross multiply. I will multiply the 10 to the other side, multiply the 5 to the other side, and so I wind up with 5 times 4y is equal to 10 times 3y minus 5. Please don't forget, again, back in Algebra 1, they would have showed you this. When you multiply that 10 to the other side, this is a quantity, 3y minus 5. If it helps you remember, go ahead and put that quantity in parentheses, because these parentheses tell you to do what with the 10? Yeah, you're going to have to distribute that 10 through the parentheses. So please, please, please do not make the mistake of saying, oh, I'm going to multiply the 10 to the other side and call it 30y minus 5. It's not. It's going to wind up being 30y minus 50. So here we go. 20y equals 30y minus 50. Oof, I don't know why I did 15. How about 50? Beautiful. Now, I need to solve for y. I'll add the 50 to this side, subtract the 20y to this side. That'll give me 50 is equal to 30y minus 20y, which means that 50 is equal to 10y, and y must be equal to 5. So there we go. They asked you to find the values of x and y, and we certainly did. There's x and there is y. Based on the fact I told you the figures were similar. Hey, let's do another one. Now that we're getting the hang of it, here we go. Once again, I tell you, given that the two figures are similar, so you know the ratios have to be the same. It has a scale factor k, they're all the same. But let's do the angle part first, because that's always a little bit easier. So what do I know about the angles? Well, it looks like, sure enough, angle M and angle Y. So angle M is congruent to angle Y. Plug and chug, do a little bit of algebra, you'll be all set. Actually, I got a neat little wrinkle for you here. 5 times the quantity x minus 5. Go ahead and distribute that 5. 5x minus 25 is equal to 4x. Great, here we go. Add the 25 to the other side, subtract the 4x, I get 5x minus 4x is equal to 25. Well, let's see, 5 minus 4, that's just an x. So there we go, that one was pretty easy. I now know the value of x. Go ahead and plug it in and you'll find the measure of each of those angles. What I want to do now is find that value of y, and we're going to have to set a proportion to do so. First, jk. Well, side jk is going to be proportional to wv. So here we go. I know that jk is going to be proportional to wv. That has to be equal. That has to be equal to, let's see, what else do they give? Oh, they give me mn and yz. So, mn, y, I was about to make a 5, y, z. There we go. So now that I've set up my proportion based on corresponding sides, actually this is really important. Please make sure that you set up your ratios the same way. JK went on top, WV went in the bottom. In the next ratio, please be very careful that you don't switch them. You cannot then go YZ over MN. You're right, you switch the ratio. Instead of putting this figure in the top and this figure in the bottom, you've switched it and put the smaller figure in the top of the B, right? And they don't line up, right? Large, small, small, large. No, not equal. Make sure that you keep those ratios in the same order. Large figure, large figure, smaller figure. Really, really important. But now we plug and chug. So JK, 2y minus 8 all over 4. And then what do we got? We got, a 1.5 all over, sure enough, a 1. Once again, guys, cross multiply. Multiply. Well, the easy bit here, 1 times anything is just going to be itself. So let me slide on up here so I got a little bit of space to work. And we're going to wind up with a 2y minus 8. On the other side, I'm going to multiply 4 by 1.5. And when I do that, I wind up with 6. Again, you just plug that into a calculator. 4 times 1.5, you'll wind up with 6. Anyway, let's add that 8 to the other side. I wind up with 2y is equal to 14. 6 plus 8 is 14. Divide both sides by 2. And yeah, how about that? We get a 7. Okay, hold up, I apologize. Something crazy is going on. There we go. All right, so what that takes care of 2 problems here where what we've done is we have been able to find an unknown angle measure because angles are congruent from one shape to the next, otherwise they wouldn't be the same shape, and then setting up those proportions. We know that these ratios have to be equal to each other. I told you they're similar figures. So we'll set those ratios equal to each other, plug in what we know, and solve that proportion to find an unknown value. And there's the geometry for you. Head on over, the algebra for you. Head on over to the next page of the notes. I have another example problem for you, and I'll meet you guys there.